The giant alien ship came down from the sky like a dark cloud over Seoul City. The ship was so big it blocked out the sun and made everything dark below. People walking on the streets stopped what they were doing and looked up. Some people took out their phones to take pictures. Others just stood there with their mouths open. Inside the huge ship, Admiral Vexitar was getting ready to give his scary speech. He had done this same thing 43 times before, and it always worked. The same words had made 43 different planets surrender without a fight. He felt confident that these humans would be just as easy to scare down on Earth. Commander Lee Hyun was sitting in his small office drinking coffee and reading boring reports about how much rice the country needed. He was not thinking about aliens or spaceships or anything exciting. His phone started buzzing with an emergency message. The alien voice suddenly came through every TV, every radio, and every computer on the planet humans of Earth. The scary alien voice said, "I am Admiral Vexitar of the Galactic Empire. Your planet has been chosen to join our empire. You have 72 hours to give up your governments and do what we say. If you do not surrender, we will destroy your entire world." Lee Hyun looked up from his coffee cup. He saw the alien face on his computer screen. The alien had 4 eyes and lots of sharp teeth and looked very angry. Lee Hyun looked at the screen for about 2 seconds, then went back to reading his rice reports. His helper Park Min ran into the office breathing hard and looking scared. "Sir, did you see the alien message?" Park Min asked. "They want to take over the world?" "Yeah, I saw it," Lee Hyun said, without looking up from his papers. "Did you finish counting how much rice we need for the people up north?" Park Min just stood there staring at his boss. He could not believe that Lee Hyun was more worried about rice than about scary aliens who wanted to destroy the Earth all around the world. Other people were doing the same thing. In Tokyo, scientist Dr. Kim Yuki kept working on her computer project. She was trying to build a super smart computer, and she thought that was more interesting than aliens. In New York, engineer Choi David kept drawing plans for a new train system. In London, Dr. Song Emma finished helping a sick person and then went to eat lunch. The alien ships floating in space above Earth were waiting for humans to panic. They expected people to run around screaming and crying. They thought governments would call emergency meetings and try to surrender as fast as possible. Instead, they watched humans do exactly what they always did. People went to work, students went to school. Cars kept driving on roads, stores stayed open. Everything was completely normal. Admiral Vexitar called his officers for an emergency meeting. His 4 eyes were blinking fast, which meant he was very confused. "Why are they not responding?" he asked his crew. "Every other planet immediately sent people to talk to us or started getting ready for war. These humans are acting like we do not exist." Lieutenant Kixalan checked his computer screens. "Sir, our scans show no military preparation, no emergency." Government meetings. Their communication networks are working normally. It is like they completely ignored our message. The Admiral had never seen anything like this in his 300 years of conquering planets. Every other species had been terrified of his big ships and powerful weapons. But these humans seemed to think the Galactic Empire was not important enough to worry about. On Earth, the world leaders finally decided to have a video meeting. President Wilson of America joined the call while eating a sandwich. Prime Minister Chen of Britain was signing papers while talking. President Tanaka of Japan kept looking at his phone instead of paying attention to the meeting. "So," President Wilson said between bites of his sandwich, "is anyone actually worried about these space guys?" "Not really," replied Prime Minister Chen. "My science people looked at their ships. They use old-fashioned rocket engines. My nephew, who is 8 years old, could probably design better spaceships, President." Tanaka looked up from his phone. "My team studied their weapons. We have had better technology sitting in our secret labs for 20 years. We just never built space guns, because honestly, who needs space guns?" Dr. Sarah Lim, the best alien expert on Earth, joined the video call from her laboratory. "I have been studying their biology from the TV broadcast. These aliens come from a planet with very heavy gravity, probably 3 times heavier than Earth. That makes them strong but slow. Their brains work about half as fast as human brains. The world leaders talked about the alien problem for exactly 15 minutes. Then they ended the call because they had more important things to do, like budget meetings and building new roads. Back on the alien ship, Admiral Vextar was having what humans might call a panic attack. His species had built their whole empire by scaring other planets with big ships and powerful weapons. They always picked planets that would be impressed and frightened by their technology. But these humans did not seem impressed at all. Some humans were even laughing. Earth's internet was full of funny pictures about the alien ships. People were comparing them to old movies and making jokes about how outdated they looked. The Admiral tried to understand human thinking by watching their movies about alien invasions. He was shocked by what he saw. In every movie, humans fought against aliens that were much stronger and had better technology. But the humans in the movies never gave up. They always found creative ways to win. These are not normal beings, he told his officers. Look at their entertainment. They make movies about fighting gods and conquering death and exploring the whole universe. What kind of species thinks like this? His science officer, Commander Tixnar, had been studying human history. Sir, I think we made a big mistake. These humans have fought wars against each other for thousands of years. They have survived ice ages, volcanic explosions, deadly diseases, and asteroid impacts. They have never learned how to give up. But they have no space fleet, the Admiral said. They have not even left their own planet. That is what makes them dangerous, sir. They have all the technology. They need to build spaceships and weapons. They just chose not to because they were busy doing other things. If we threaten them, they might decide to get serious about space technology. The Admiral looked at Earth, spinning below his fleet. The humans were still going about their normal lives, still ignoring the most powerful military force in the galaxy, like it was nothing more than a cloud in the sky. As the 72-hour deadline got closer, Admiral Vextar realized he had made a terrible mistake. He had threatened a species that did not know how to be afraid. And worse than that, he had threatened a species that might actually be more dangerous than his own empire. The humans were not taking his threats seriously because they genuinely did not see his ships as a threat. They saw them as a minor inconvenience, like rain on a nice day. By the 4th week of the so-called invasion, something completely unexpected happened. The humans got bored with being threatened and decided to solve the aliens' problems instead. Dr. Kim Min, a systems expert, had been studying the Galactic Empire's communication patterns and discovered something very interesting. The Empire was not actually very good at being an empire. Their logistics were terrible, their resource management was wasteful, and their administrative systems were hundreds of years out of date. She wrote her findings in a paper called Why Galactic-Scale Governments Are Badly Organized, a case study. The paper included a detailed restructuring plan that could reduce the Empire's operating costs by 60% while improving services to member worlds. Dr. Kim sent the paper directly to Admiral Vextar with a polite note. I noticed some areas where your empire could run more smoothly. Feel free to use these suggestions. No charge. Admiral Vextar read the paper with growing amazement. This human had solved administrative problems that had troubled his civilization for thousands of years. Her solutions were so obviously correct that he wondered why no one in his empire had ever thought of them. The answer, he realized, was that his species had built their empire through conquest, not innovation. They took what others had built rather than building better things themselves. Meanwhile, engineer Li Yun had been examining the alien ships through telescopes and was horrified by their design flaws. The ships were powerful but inefficient, like sports cars with broken engines. These poor aliens, she told her colleague Park Sue. Their ships barely work. It is amazing they made it to Earth without breaking down. Completely, Li Yun spent her weekend designing improved versions of alien technology. Her new ship designs were faster, more efficient, more comfortable, and significantly cheaper to build. She sent the blueprints to the alien fleet with a helpful note. I noticed your ships have some serious engineering problems, she wrote. These designs should fix most of the issues. Your crew will be much more comfortable, and you will save a fortune on fuel costs. Admiral Vextar showed the blueprints to his engineering staff. They confirmed that the human designs were superior in every possible way. The modifications would transform his aging fleet into the most advanced ships in the galaxy. But the improvements kept coming every single day. Dr. Choi, a nutrition expert, had analyzed alien biology and noticed they were suffering from several deficiency diseases caused by poor diet planning on long space voyages. She developed a comprehensive nutrition program that would keep alien crews healthy and alert during extended missions. Professor Song Ho, an economics expert, sent the Empire a complete economic restructuring plan that would increase prosperity on member worlds while reducing the resources needed for military control. Dr. Park Jin, a psychology expert, provided a conflict resolution framework that could prevent rebellions and civil wars throughout the Empire without using any force at all. Every day brought new gifts from humans who had noticed problems in alien civilization and casually solved them as intellectual exercises during their free time. Admiral Vextar found himself in an impossible situation. His mission was to conquer Earth, but the humans were systematically fixing everything wrong with his empire. His ships were running better thanks to human engineering advice. His crew was healthier thanks to human medical recommendations. His administrative systems were more efficient thanks to human organizational suggestions. The humans were not fighting the Galactic Empire. They were improving it. Lieutenant Kixlon brought the Admiral a very disturbing report. "Sir, our member worlds are requesting copies of the human improvement plans. They want to implement the economic and social reforms that Earth has suggested." "What are you telling me?" "Sir, our own people prefer the human solutions to our traditional methods. If we implement these changes, our empire will be more prosperous and peaceful than ever before. But it will not really be our empire anymore. It will be organized according to human principles." Admiral Vextar realized that humans had found a way to conquer his empire without firing a single shot. They were transforming it from within by making it better. The final blow came when Dr. Li Young, a philosophy expert, sent the Empire a comprehensive analysis of government systems. Her paper explained why conquest-based empires always eventually collapsed and provided detailed plans for transitioning to sustainable, cooperative galactic civilization. "Your current system is inherently unstable," she wrote, "but you have the opportunity to become something much better. Instead of ruling through fear, you could lead through excellence. Instead of taking from others, you could create things worth sharing." The paper included step-by-step instructions for transforming a military empire into a collaborative federation where member worlds chose to participate because membership made their lives better. Admiral Vextar read the paper 3 times. Everything in it made perfect sense. The human philosopher had provided a roadmap for building the kind of galactic civilization he had secretly dreamed of, but never thought was possible. He called his senior staff together for a final meeting about the Earth situation. "We have a choice," he told them. "We can continue trying to conquer a species that refuses to be conquered, or we can accept their help in becoming something better than conquerors." Commander Tixanar spoke for the entire group. "Sir, these humans have given us more valuable gifts in 1 month than we have taken from 43 conquered worlds. Perhaps it is time to try their approach." The science officer added, "Sir, our analysis shows that human methods produce better results than our methods in every measurable category. Their approach to civilization is simply superior to ours." Lieutenant Kixelon brought up the final point. "Sir, if we continue hostile actions against Earth, our own member worlds might rebel against us. They have seen what human civilization looks like and they prefer it to what we offer." Admiral Vextar looked out at Earth spinning peacefully below his fleet. The humans were still going about their daily lives, still improving everything they touched, still treating the most powerful military force in the galaxy like helpful neighbors who just needed some good advice. The reports kept coming in. Human solutions were being implemented across the Empire voluntarily. Member worlds were becoming more prosperous, more stable, and happier, using human organizational methods. The Empire was transforming itself into something completely different. He made a decision that would change the galaxy forever. The Admiral realized that his choice was not between conquering Earth or retreating in defeat. His choice was between clinging to an inferior system or embracing a better way of doing things. The humans had not defeated his empire. They had offered his empire a chance to evolve into something worthy of respect. Admiral Vextar did something that no commander in the entire history of the Galactic Empire had ever done before. He sent Earth a formal apology letter. Dear people of Earth. His message began, I apologize for threatening your beautiful world. After studying your society and receiving your generous help, I realize that conquest is a terrible way to build galactic civilization. We would like to request your guidance in creating something much better. The message was signed not just by the Admiral, but by representatives from every single world in his fleet. The alien crews had voted unanimously to abandon their conquest mission and ask humans for help. Instead, Lee Hyun, still Earth's unofficial spokesperson, responded with typical human practicality. No problem at all, we would be happy to help. Do you want to start with a simple trade agreement or jump straight to a mutual cooperation treaty? Within 1 month, the first Galactic Cooperation Summit was held in Geneva, Switzerland. Representatives from 43 alien worlds attended along with Earth's best scientists, engineers, economists, and philosophers. Dr. Kim Yuki presented her quantum communication network designs, which would allow instant communication across the entire galaxy. Engineer Choi David unveiled transportation systems that could move people and goods between star systems as easily as traveling between cities on Earth. The aliens contributed their own expertise in fields where they were actually good: stellar engineering, exotic matter manipulation, and large-scale construction techniques. The combination of human innovation and alien resources created possibilities that neither species had imagined when working alone. Song Emma established the Galactic Health Organization, creating medical standards that improved life expectancy on every member world. Park Soo launched the Interstellar Education Initiative, sharing knowledge and learning methods across all species barriers, and the most important contribution came from Dr. Lee Young, the philosopher who had first suggested transforming the Empire. She proposed the Galactic Constitution, a framework for cooperative civilization based on voluntary participation, mutual benefit, and shared knowledge. The Constitution established very simple principles. Member worlds would contribute their unique strengths to common projects, share discoveries freely, and resolve conflicts through dialogue, rather than force. Any world could join the Galactic Federation by demonstrating commitment to these values. Any world could leave if membership no longer served their people's interests. Admiral Vextar, now calling himself Coordinator. Vextar became the Federation's first leader. His role was not to command armies but to facilitate cooperation between member worlds. The transformation was absolutely remarkable. Worlds that had been reluctant subjects of the Empire became enthusiastic Federation members. The resources previously spent on military control were redirected to research development and quality of life improvements. Within 5 years, the Galactic Federation had grown to include over 200 worlds. The galaxy was more prosperous, more peaceful, and more technologically advanced than it had ever been in recorded history. Humans characteristically were already getting restless with their success. Dr. Park Jin had begun studying other galaxies and wondered if the Federation model might work on an even larger scale. Engineer Lee Yoon was designing ships capable of intergalactic travel. Philosopher Kim Soo was writing papers about building cooperative civilization across multiple galaxies. You know, Lee Hyun mentioned to Coordinator Vextar during a routine diplomatic meeting. We have been getting radio signals from the Andromeda Galaxy. Seems like they have some interesting civilizations over there. Maybe we should introduce ourselves and see if they want to be friends. Vextar, who had once commanded the most feared fleet in the galaxy, now spent his days coordinating peaceful cooperation between hundreds of worlds. He had never been happier or more fulfilled in his entire life. Are you suggesting we expand the Federation to other galaxies? He asked. Why not? Lee Hyun replied with a casual shrug. We have faster-than-light travel figured out. We have universal translation working perfectly. We have sustainable civilization models that work across dozens of different species. Seems like other galaxies might benefit from what we have learned here. Vextar looked at the human with a mixture of deep admiration and mild terror. These creatures had accidentally conquered his empire by making it better transformed galactic civilization, by refusing to be impressed by military power. And now they were casually suggesting they improve the entire universe. "Do humans ever think small?" he asked. With genuine curiosity, Lee Hyun considered the question very seriously for a moment. "Not really," he admitted. "It is not that we try to think big on purpose, it is just that once we start solving problems, we tend to notice that most problems are connected to other problems, so we end up solving those too." He paused, then added with typical human understatement, "Besides, intergalactic civilization sounds like a really interesting project, should be fun to work on." The changes kept accelerating at an incredible pace. Dr. Kim Yuki's quantum communication network was connecting civilizations across multiple star clusters. Engineer Choi David's transportation systems were moving entire populations between worlds for better opportunities. Song Emma's medical advances were extending lifespans and improving quality of life for dozens of species. But perhaps the most amazing change was in how different species treated each other. The old empire had been built on fear and domination. The new federation was built on curiosity and mutual benefit. Species that had been enemies for centuries were now working together on projects that benefited everyone. Coordinator Vextar often reflected on how much had changed. His people had once been proud conquerors who took what they wanted from weaker civilizations. Now they were contributing, members of a galactic community that created wealth and knowledge faster than anyone could consume it. The humans had shown them that cooperation was not just morally better than conquest, it was also more practical, more efficient, and more fun. Reports were coming in from the edges of the galaxy. Other empires had heard about the Federation and were sending diplomatic missions. Some wanted to join immediately. Others were suspicious, but curious. All of them were impressed by what voluntary cooperation had accomplished, Sir Lieutenant Kixelon reported to the coordinator. "We are receiving contact requests from over 50 previously unknown civilizations. They have heard about our success and want to learn about Federation membership." The galaxy was transforming itself voluntarily. Species that had never met were working together on projects that would have been impossible for any single world to accomplish. And at the center of it all were the humans, still treating the transformation of galactic civilization like just another interesting problem they had solved on a quiet afternoon. The species that had once threatened to conquer Earth found themselves part of humanity's next great adventure, building a cooperative civilization that would span multiple galaxies, connect countless species, and turn the universe into something more beautiful than anyone had ever imagined possible. The humans, of course, treated this as simply another Tuesday. Admiral Vextar decided that gentle threats were not working. If humans wanted to ignore his warnings, he would make himself impossible to ignore. He ordered his fleet to begin demonstration attacks on empty areas, showing off their planet-destroying weapons and city-melting energy beams. The first target was an empty desert in Australia. The alien battleship charged up its biggest cannon and fired a beam that could melt entire mountains. The attack lit up the whole sky and left a crater so big it could be seen from space. Within 6 hours, human scientists had arrived at the blast site. Dr. Lee Sang, a rock expert, was absolutely thrilled by this unexpected research opportunity. "This is amazing," she told news reporters while standing right at the edge of the huge crater. "The energy beam created new types of rocks we have never seen before. The crystal formations are extraordinary." She collected samples and wrote a science paper called "New Rock Types Made by Alien Energy Weapons." The paper treated the alien attack like a helpful science experiment that had given her interesting new materials to study. Professor Kim Tae, a physics expert, was even more excited. He studied the leftover radiation from the energy beam and called it surprisingly wasteful but very interesting from a theory perspective. His team figured out how the weapon worked within 2 days and suggested 17 ways to make it better. The aliens watched in complete horror as humans treated their most destructive weapon demonstration like a fun learning experience. Getting frustrated, Admiral Vextar ordered attacks on human buildings. His ships targeted power plants, communication towers, and transportation centers, but he was careful not to hurt any people. The Empire preferred to keep conquered populations alive and working. The attacks caused exactly what the Admiral expected. Humans finally paid attention to the alien fleet. Unfortunately for him, the attention was not fear at all. Engineer Park Jun arrived at a destroyed power plant with a team of experts. Instead of being upset, he felt inspired. "Look at this," he told his workers, pointing to the melted remains of the building. "Their weapons make perfectly clean cuts through metal and concrete. We could use this precise cutting technology for construction work." Within 1 week, Park Jun had designed construction tools based on alien weapon technology. His new tools were safer, more efficient, and more precise than anything humans had ever built before. The alien attack had accidentally revolutionized human construction. When aliens destroyed communication towers, Dr. Choi Hee rebuilt them with quantum communication systems that were impossible to block or interfere with. When they damaged transportation hubs, city planner Song Min redesigned them as magnificent architectural achievements that were stronger and more beautiful than the original buildings. Every single alien attack made human infrastructure better than it was before. Admiral Vexistar was getting reports that made absolutely no sense. Human industrial production was increasing. Their technology was advancing faster than ever. Their cities were becoming more efficient and more beautiful at the same time. "They are using our attacks as inspiration," Lieutenant Kixelon reported with complete bewilderment. "Every time we destroy something, they rebuild it better than it was before." The Admiral studied intelligence reports about human psychology. What he learned scared him more than any weapon he had ever faced. Humans, he discovered, were a species that became stronger when challenged. They got more creative when threatened and more united when facing outside enemies. The alien attacks were not weakening humanity. They were making humanity better. Dr. Yun-na, a history expert, published a paper explaining this strange phenomenon to confused alien observers who had been monitoring human communications throughout our history. She wrote, "Humans have always responded to big threats by becoming more than we were before. Disasters bring us together. Challenges inspire us. Impossible problems motivate our greatest achievements. Your attacks are not punishment. They are gifts." She included many examples of how wars had made technology advance faster, how natural disasters had created stronger communities, and how seemingly impossible problems had led to humanity's greatest breakthroughs. The paper ended with a thank you note to the Galactic Empire for giving humanity its latest opportunity to grow and improve. Admiral Vexitar called an emergency meeting with all his senior officers. "We need to completely change our approach," he announced. "These humans are unlike any species. In our entire database, Commander Tixanar had been studying human military history. Sir, I have analyzed their war patterns. Humans do not just fight to win. They fight to completely change the nature of fighting itself. Every major human war has ended with innovations that made all previous military thinking obsolete. What does that mean for us? It means that if we keep attacking them, they will eventually develop weapons that make our entire fleet irrelevant. Not as a long-term goal, but as a side effect of solving the problems we are creating for them." The science officer brought up disturbing intelligence reports. Human research facilities were working day and night on projects that seemed unrelated to the alien threat but had scary implications. "They are not building weapons to fight us," the science officer explained. "They are building tools to make us completely irrelevant. One team is developing faster than light communication that would make our information advantages meaningless. Another group is working on matter transmission technology that would make our physical presence unnecessary." Admiral Vextar stared at the reports with growing alarm. The humans were not trying to defeat the Galactic Empire. They were accidentally making the Galactic Empire obsolete by pursuing their own curious interests. And they were doing it much faster than anyone thought was possible. The most disturbing report came from the Intelligence Division. "Sir, the humans have been reverse engineering our technology from the wreckage of their destroyed buildings. They now understand our energy systems, our materials, science, and our propulsion methods. Better than that, they have improved on all of it. Improved how? Their versions are more efficient, more reliable, cheaper to build, and easier to maintain. Sir, if they wanted to, they could build a space fleet superior to ours using technology they learned from studying our attacks." Admiral Vextar felt something he had never Experienced in 3 centuries of conquest complete helplessness, his empire had encountered a species that treated devastating attacks as learning opportunities and used enemy weapons as inspiration for better designs. The humans were not just unafraid of the Galactic Empire. They were casually surpassing it while barely paying attention. Worse yet, they seemed to be doing it all by accident as a side effect of their natural curiosity and problem-solving instincts. The Admiral realized that his fleet was no longer threatening Earth. Earth was transforming his fleet into obsolete museum pieces simply by existing near it. The 72 hours passed by like any normal Tuesday. Admiral Vextar waited and waited for Earth to surrender. But instead, he got something he had never seen before, a polite but firm, no thank you letter. The message came from Lee Hyun, who had become Earth's spokesperson just because he happened to be drinking coffee in the right office when someone needed to write back to the aliens, "Dear Admiral Vextar." The message said, "Thank you for wanting to conquer Earth, but we have to say no. We are very busy with our own work right now. Please move your ships away from our planet because they are messing up our satellite signals, thanks Earth." Admiral Vextar read the message over and over again. His computer translator kept saying it was working right, but the human response made no sense at all. Where was the fear? Where were the desperate attempts to negotiate? Where was the begging for mercy, Dr. Kim Yuki, the scientist who worked on quantum computers, was actually getting annoyed by the alien ships. Their big metal hulls were blocking some of her satellite signals and making her experiments run slower. She sent her own complaint message directly to the alien fleet. "Your ships are causing problems with my research," she wrote. "Please move them at least 50,000 kilometers away from Earth, or I will file an official complaint with the International Space Administration." The aliens read this message and could not believe what they were seeing. A single human scientist was giving orders to the most powerful space fleet in the galaxy, like they were noisy neighbors playing music too loud. Meanwhile, engineer Choi David had become very interested in how the alien ships were built. He spent his weekend studying them through his telescope and was shocked by how badly they were designed. He wrote a research paper called "Why Alien Spaceships Are Poorly Made" and put it on the internet. The paper became incredibly popular and got 50 million views in one day. David explained in simple terms why the alien ships were terrible. "Look at these ships," David said in a video. "They are using chemical rockets to steer chemical rockets. My grandfather had better technology than this, and look at their metal plating. It looks like they designed these ships to fall apart." The video included detailed plans showing how to fix all the problems. David treated the galaxy's most feared warships like a school project that deserved a bad grade. He even suggested improvements that would make the ships 3 times better. Dr. Song Emma was dealing with a completely different problem. Some humans were getting sore necks from looking up at the alien ships too much. She published a health warning telling people how to look at aliens without hurting themselves. "When alien watching," she wrote, "remember to keep good posture. Take breaks every few minutes to rest your neck. If the aliens could lower their ships or move along, that would be much more comfortable for everyone." Admiral Vextar called another emergency meeting with his officers. He was getting reports that made no sense at all. "Sir," Lieutenant Kixelan said, "the humans seem to be studying us. Our secret communications have been broken and analyzed. They have figured out our language, mapped our ship designs, and identified all our weapons." "That is impossible," the Admiral replied. "It took our smartest scientists many years to understand other alien languages. Sir, it gets much worse. They have been scanning our bodies through our video messages. They know our weaknesses, what we eat, and how we reproduce. One human scientist published a medical paper about our species yesterday. It knows more about us than our own doctors." The Admiral looked at the paper. On his computer screen, Dr. Park Soo, a human expert on alien biology, had written a complete guide to alien health, based only on watching their video messages. The paper included advice for treating alien diseases and suggestions for better alien nutrition. "How is this even possible?" the Admiral whispered. His science officer, Commander Tixnar, had been doing his own research about human abilities. "Sir, I think we made a very big mistake about these humans. They are not a normal primitive civilization." What? Do you mean? They seem to have chosen not to go into space not because they cannot do it, but because they find their own planet more interesting. Our information was wrong. They are not primitive. They are focused. The commander showed holographic pictures of human technology. Look at what they can build. They make millions of complex machines at the same time. Their information networks connect every human on the planet instantly. They have split atoms, mapped their own DNA, and built artificial brains. Then why do they not have space fleets? Because they are busy turning their whole planet into a perfect garden, sir. They do not want to conquer other worlds. They want to make their own world perfect. Reports were coming in from human cities around the world. Instead of getting ready for war, humans were actually working harder on their normal projects. The alien ships had somehow motivated humans to be more productive. New York announced plans for amazing new transportation. Tokyo revealed a breakthrough in clean energy. Seoul showed off medical advances that could help humans live much longer. It was like the aliens had accidentally challenged humanity to show off, and humans were responding by casually displaying technology that made the Galactic Empire look ordinary. The strangest part was that humans were treating the galaxy-conquering fleet like a minor annoyance. They were not building weapons or calling for help. They were just asking the aliens to please move out of the way so humans could get back to their important work. Admiral Vextar was starting to understand something terrible. His empire had threatened a species that treated the most powerful military force in the galaxy like they were construction workers blocking traffic. The humans were not afraid because they genuinely did not see the aliens as dangerous. They saw them as an interruption to more important things. Commander Tixanar brought more disturbing news. Sir, our analysis shows that human technology is advancing faster since we arrived. It is like our presence has motivated them to work harder. What are you saying? I am saying that threatening these humans might be making them stronger, sir. Every day they ignore us, they seem to accomplish things that should take years. They are treating our invasion like a small problem they will solve when they have time. Admiral Vextar looked out at Earth again. The humans were still going about their daily business, still treating his fleet like it was not worth serious attention. He was beginning to realize that his empire had made contact with a species that could not be conquered because they were too busy conquering problems that actually mattered to them. The humans had looked at the Galactic Empire and decided it was not impressive enough to worry about, and that terrified the Admiral more than any weapon ever could.